Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, I have a contribution with respect to two bills, Bill number 26 and Bill number 28. 26 being the Maritime Transport Budget Amendment Bill, and 28 being the Land Transport Budget Amendment Bill 2021. Honourable Speaker, sir, right at the outset, as a minister responsible for transport, I support the actual amendment bill. This amendment, with respect to the Maritime Transport Budget Amendment Bill, Honourable Speaker, will allow the CEO of Maritime Safety Authority Fiji to make decisions on maritime licenses. This will improve the organization's agility, and it's actually going to support the growth and development of employees involved in the particular process and enable timely service delivery by MSAF. And it will also increase our operational efficiency and staff productivity and improvement of business in the long run. It's been a long time coming, sir, but it needs to be done. It will also amend the extent and extend the duration of sea route licensing from 5 to 20 years, and this is a very important component, sir. Government's main intention for sea route licensing was to ensure that we actually get a improved consistency in shipping services in Fiji, and to also provide route security to licensed ship operators who have heavily invested in providing these important services. Mr. Speaker, so the amendment will enable control, regulation, and admin of locally registered ship operations within Fiji and territorial waters. And in addition, the amendment will protect existing domestic shipping service providers from competition in a limited market. The allocated routes will be protected from encroachment by other ship operators, and this actually ensures that ship owners of returns on their investment. The SRL can also be used, Honourable Speaker, sir, as collateral to invest in improving shipping services by acquiring new green technology vessels that are not just efficient and environmentally friendly to achieve our vision of net zero carbon emissions by 2050. An extension of the SRL to 20 years will actually increase local participation in shipping services. It actually promotes the facilitation and regular and reliable shipping services, which will support increased economic activity in the outer islands. It allows the amendments also allow that will permit foreign ships, as mentioned, as alluded to by the Honourable Attorney General, carrying cargo in and out of Fiji waters to be exempted from acquiring a coastal trading permit. And it should be noted that the exemption is only for foreign vessels bringing in cargo to one port and taking cargo from the same port. And this exemption will not apply as foreign vessels transport goods from one domestic port to the other. The border authorities also will need to be informed 48 hours prior to before the arrival of the vessel for all entry procedures to be completed. This will ease cross-border trade and encourage efficiency in the transportation of cargo in and out of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, said that WHO made a decision to declare seafarers as one of the groups of transportation workers that should be prioritized for COVID-19 vaccination in instances of limited supplies. And this move emphasizes the importance of seafarers, for without seafarers, the ships do not move. And this is particularly for countries where vaccines are not available. And here in Fiji, we are fortunate that we have the vaccines available, and I encourage all seafarers to get vaccinated. To encourage young seafarers also to join the seafaring profession, the government will also pay for training and certification fees for those who wish to become seafarers through an allocation of about 100,000. Mr. Speaker, so I support the Maritime Transport Act budget amendment. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, with respect to Bill number 28 on the Land Transport Budget Amendment Bill, Honourable Gerigana Tambua mentioned that, and she alluded to the Honourable PM stating that the freedom to operate at the launching of streetlights in Dubu. And what it is that's exactly what the open rank system is actually doing. It just means that you don't have to get bogged down with the worry of paying large amounts of money for base fees. And that's what's actually happening right now. She needs to see what's happening on the ground. The open ranking, Honourable Speaker, sir, gives you the opportunity to freely operate on a first-come, first-served basis. And secondly, and again, she seriously needs to see what's actually happening on the ground. Honourable Speaker, sir, in the ground in Singatoka, in Nandi, and Latoka, there are illegal operations to a large extent, and we have owners of private vehicles operating as public service vehicles and operators and strangling the existing legal operators of their daily income. We have PSV operators operating illegally, strangling those who are actually trying to make a living. So Honorable Ngirgen Tambor probably needs to go and study the how the application of PSV levy also applies. And she's made some contradictory statements. Now, with respect to the Fiji Taxi Association, yes, we've received the grievances. Yes, we will deal with it in a timely manner. Yes, we'll be definitely looking at issues, whatever it is that they actually raise. There are regulations to follow. There's nothing sinister about it at all. At all, and that needs to be realized. The change is good. We're actually doing this so there's a level playing field. For many, many years, we've had problems in this particular industry. So everybody needs to operate on a level playing field. If there are extra measures that have been put in place with respect to seizure of taxis, these are deterrents. A deterrent, I mean, you shouldn't complain about a deterrent. We need to have a compliant society. We need to have compliant drivers within the PSV regime. We need to ensure that all our PSV drivers show an extra duty of care. So at the end of the day, they don't lose their right. You can say that, yes, my vehicle is encumbered, they have mortgages to pay, but at the end of the day, you must be a compliant person, just like every other citizen should be. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are many positive incentives in the 2022 national budget. The land transport incentive announced is to assist about 259,400 land transport operators and license holders in Fiji. The bill, as mentioned earlier, Honorable Speaker, sir, has six key policy objectives. The open rank system, as I actually said, it's to actually ensure efficiency and reliability in operations and service delivery. This is similar frameworks have been successfully implemented in countries like the UK and Australia and China. Open taxi ranks, as we all know, exist all around the country. And this is also going to be done in conjunction with the Fiji Roads Authority. It's actually part of our National Development Plan. These things need to be realized. Go read the National Development Plan, Honorable Gary Tambua. You will see what we're actually talking about. And it literally means there'll be more taxi bases that are around. So the levy that's charged that everybody has to pay for. First in, first out at the end of the day, and everybody has a fair bite at the cherry. Isn't that what we all want? The removal of base stands and fees and station fees, public service holders actually pay, and it gets replaced with an annual levy, which everybody pays. And there are currently 7,988 taxi operators, of which 6,465 are actually urban taxis and 1,523 rural taxis that will benefit with about $6.2 million revenue for the government. The bill will actually amend Section 2 to align the definitions of parking place and stand and the new terminologies to be used for open taxi ranks. Bill also seeks to strengthen the enforcement powers of LTA, and there's nothing sinister about it, as I said. It's actually quite simple. And it's in relation to private vehicles illegally operating as PSVs. We've seen a massive rise in that actually at the moment. That doesn't mean we go and legalize all of them. We still need to conform to some rules. At the end of the day, we also need to ensure that people are not breaching their permit conditions. So if you put in measures such as these, it actually becomes a deterrent for people to do it. You shouldn't be breaking the law in the first place. The bill will enhance LTA's power as a regulatory arm to auction off seized vehicles. And of course, there are things that will be addressed, and that will be if there's a bank that has a charge on it, etc. And one other thing she raised, because we added value to these permits, and they're going to lose it because they're losing their base. That's definitely not the case. You don't lose it just because you've taken away a base that exists. That's not how the value of that particular thing is calculated. Now, Mr. Speaker, so in the last 5 years, LTA has issued 25,494 tins to private vehicle operators for illegally operating as PSV. The general public actually suffers in this because there's no insurance on these vehicles. These illegal operators pose a threat to road users as they do not adhere to the same safety and conduct standards as registered PSVs. Empowering LTA to sell off these vehicles instead of returning it to the perpetrators will sufficiently deter and potential future offenders. It's actually amended to empower LTA to seize an auction that have been used illegally as PSV. The third policy objective is to allow individuals who wish to amend change their records without charging a fee. Fourth policy, again, Mr. Speaker, sir, objective is to impose a tire fee which will be required to be paid by vehicle owners on new or used motor vehicle operators. This is actually part of the Fiji Tire Stewardship Program, and this will enable recycling of used tires. And we import on average about 282,000 loose tires each year. And as of 2020, it's estimated there's about 500,000 odd tires that are being used in vehicles registered in Fiji. Given that there's no tire recycling companies in Fiji, it can be assumed that used tires, or end-of-life tires as we call them, end up in landfills in a stockpile. And the small number are used for gardening and protection of ship fenders, etc. Amendment will put in actually tire fee to be paid upon registration. Now, this policy objective is to address the disparity in law with relation to carriage of patrons of business in vehicles registered under commercial vehicles. And as of 7th of July, there are about 1,072 registered commercial vehicles. The pandemic also has a direct impact on the tourism sector, also, Honourable Speaker, sir, affecting many hotels, resorts, and licensed hire cars, road contract license operators. Act currently does not allow hotels that have vehicles registered as commercials to carry guests, as the Honourable Attorney General pointed out. Tourism industry also will benefit from these exemptions. The last policy objective addresses the disparity which does not provide for the registration of charitable religious educational organizations. And I think enough has been said by the Honourable Attorney General with respect to that particular provision that's being provided. In addition to all of that, so the amnesty period for the registration of a vehicle that has actually been off the road since 4th of July 2016 without payment of arrears or of charges or fees, including the road user levy and the ACCF levy, for that period that the vehicle has not been on road. This is enabled by amending regulations 2 of the fees and penalties. What COVID-19 has taught us, Honourable Speaker, is that there are new norms of doing business. We want the LTA to be efficient. We also want our PSV drivers to be very sharp at the end of the day, making sure that everybody's on the level playing field. For far too long, there hasn't been. I have seen pictures of people ending up in fisticuffs because of the base issues that exist around the West at the moment. And these are the kinds of things that we need to get rid of. And Honourable Speaker, sir, if people took the time out and just quickly read Fiji's development plans, the 20-year development plans, they would see that all of these things that are being done currently are part of our national development plans. We have a strong board, we will have a strong LTA, and all of these provisions that are being made now are in line with our national development plans. And I fully support the amendments of the Land Transport Act bill before the House, sir. I thank you for allowing me to have the floor.
I thank the Honourable Minister for his contribution to the debate.